Welcome to the Drop In with Pindi podcast from Warriors TMA Academy, a podcast for everyone from business inspirational leaders, combat sports enthusiasts, martial artists, and fitness fans. Together, we can build our self-discipline, confidence, and positive mindsets through great leaders. Now, here's your host, coach and former pro fighter, Pindi Matahar.
Welcome, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for logging on to Drop In with Pindi podcast. Today, everyone, I am delighted to announce my guest is none other than Mr. Bora himself, Gracie Barra's Professor Braulio Estima. Thank you so much for joining us today. I honestly am honored for you to take the time out of your hectic schedule to come down and share your amazing stories that we're going to be obviously hearing about today. Just before we get into it and before we get started into Braulio's professor's journey. Those of you that probably heard the previous podcasts that we've done and heard my story, my very first ever Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class was at Braulio's first academy, where I had Professor Braulio, Professor Victor there. And back then, like I said, the Jiu-Jitsu has always been the same, but in terms of where it's come from and back then, the first lesson I went to, you were in a Brazil football shirt. Does that make sense? It's like it's come from it's come a long way.
Freezing cold academy.
And freezing cold. Yeah. Stevie B's, where we had to wear our hoods sometimes under the gis. We never wore socks, but yeah.
Well, I did.
Yeah. Where
socks,
is that? Socks, leggings, the whole works.
Another t-shirt, hoodie.
That is just having to wear layers on. And that was without heating. That was with the roof leaking. But the beauty of it all. That was a certain era of jiu-jitsu that we've had come through. And the reason being I wanted to get Braulio here as a guest is because the stories that you've got are truly inspiring for the listeners out there here, because what people see now isn't what it's not. It didn't just happen like that. Mm-hmm. You had to go through literally the struggles. There's so many barriers in the way. And I think the beauty of it is to see where you are now. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of it is that you're not settled. You're still as eager as you are. May not be necessarily competition, but it may be other aspects of your life that you're still eager to keep on going and to never settle, which is the beauty of it. But the important side is and for me personally, and with everything going on in the world right now with mental health and a lot of people being depressed and not struggling to get off the surface to go and achieve their goals and their dreams. The beauty of it is that you never gave up. You carried on going. You had obstacles left, right, and center, but you kept on going. But before we get into the whole story of where you are today, Braulio, let's let the audience know where it all began from and what pursued you into going into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because you came from an area in Brazil where it wasn't Rio de Janeiro, where Gracie Barra HQ was, and it was it's like completely
outside of the mecca of the spectrum.
Exactly. But so where did it all come from? Like where?
Yes, Pindi. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for the invitation. I was really looking forward to come here. I've been seeing Professor Salvo, Professor Victor, my brother, being here, and I'm like, man,
let's
my
do it.
turn. My turn.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
It's a big pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank
you. I mean, the biggest challenge. Now, I was speaking before we start here. It is like when I started in Jiu-Jitsu, there was no black belts around. There was a bunch of white belt people training just for the experience something new. Inspired by the UFC, first UFC, Horace Gracie,
absolutely,
and all that. I did have a background in judo when I was 9 years old, and then it's something that I enjoy. I know why my dad put in judo now, because I have 2 kids to get a little bit of less hyper and then control, get some self-discipline and stuff. And I got the hang of judo. Unfortunately, my professor at the time, he passed out on an accident after 2 years. And it was kind of shocking for me because I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I couldn't afford to go any further away to train judo in other academies. So I used to train at my school. Twice a week.
In your hometown?
Exactly, in the school. My school.
Oh, your actual
the secondary school.
Education. Yeah.
So there,
wow.
That was how I used to. So when he was a brown belt in judo, so he was just like someone. And then he was actually found out later he was really good on the ground. On the knee side of the judo,
Yeah.
It's funny enough that I remember that I used to, I held back my change belts, right, for 6 months because I was afraid that once you get the green belt in judo, you're allowed to be choked. And then I was afraid of it. That's how they find it. So anyway, my professor passed away, and then I lost a little bit of the motivation to train, and I started doing football as everyone in Brazil do. You know, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't.
You wasn't Ronaldo.
Enough. Yeah, I wasn't good enough to go through. So I realized that I put a target to myself.
Okay.
I told myself, look, if by 17, I have not been called or going to any academy in football, I need to do something else because I want to by 17 be already with my
team and academy.
my purpose, my sport. I've always wanted to be an athlete. That's my thing. You know, it was a challenge on the beginning because my both families, they came from academic world. You know, my mom's side all law, my dad's side dentistry. So I was the first one to pursue something different.
Completely different.
But at the same time, you know, happens what happened with my professor, and then I started football, and then by the time was getting close. By the time I was 15, I'm already, man, if nobody see me as a football, my dad is not influential in the sport.
In the sporting world,
so, you know what, I'm going to go back. I watched the Olympics in 96, 94.
Yes.
The Olympics, Barcelona, which one of our stars in judo got the medal. And I said, man, that's what I want. I want to do that. So I didn't know what jiu-jitsu was then. Started training judo. And then came to my best friend at the first judo school, started doing jiu-jitsu. And he goes, come train jiu-jitsu. I said, no, man, I don't like jiu-jitsu. I don't want to go punch and kick. I like grappling. He said, no, but jiu-jitsu doesn't have punch and kick, man. It's like judo, but on the ground. I said, hold on a second.
Okay.
He said, really? Okay, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah.
And I went there for the first time. And I borrowed a gi, and I liked the idea because I felt the idea. Look, come on, I'm tall, I'm lanky, skinny, and I actually can fight for my back. That's
cool.
Be interesting, you know. Yeah. And then I've always loved the idea of controlling a situation by submission. I feel like if you do that, you are a bigger person than try to kind of hurt someone. You know, I felt that's always attracted to me, to be the control a situation without hurting no one and be and live on the high.
Absolutely.
Know? And then I understood that jiu-jitsu could be, but it was very small. I only have like white belts to train with. So it wasn't, I never thought jiu-jitsu would become that big, right? Yeah. And then I started, you know what, I'm going to train jiu-jitsu to help my judo.
Yep.
So it's complement each other,
absolutely,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I started training judo to compensate to my jiu-jitsu, to help my jiu-jitsu. And then thing goes on, and then the rest is history. And I came from that area that there was no black belts around. The closest black belt was 3 hours by airplane away. Right?
Wow.
So, you know, it's from when I started jiu-jitsu, I don't even know that what I was actually training was real. Real jiu-jitsu because it was just a bunch of guys grappling around.
Rolling around.
You know?
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of people associate with this with themselves because when you are not in Brazil, you probably, if you start jiu-jitsu like when you did, it was from scratch.
I remember when I started it, because I came from a Muay Thai background. So when I told all my guys who I've trained Muay Thai with that I'm going into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they're like, "Why are you guys rolling around on the floor for? Like, why do you want to learn that?" And for me, like when I remember, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to start it. And before that, I was heavily into my Muay Thai, and then I saw UFC on TV, and it wasn't the UFC fights, it was the Ultimate Fighter. So this is one of the first seasons. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And with the links with my father, training on the lines of people like Guru Daniel Santo, Rick Young. And then I remember going on a seminar with my dad with Guru and Santo, and I'm meeting Eric. And I was like, whoa, this guy is insane. He's doing the striking, but then he's doing a double leg takedown, going into a leg like
hook,
or a heel hook. And I was like, for me, it's like, I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, that's in my head. I thought, wow, that's UFC. And this was back in 2004 and 5. So then I remember at the end of the seminar, Eric saying, guys, if anyone wants to come to California, you're more than welcome to my school then. So 2006, I went to California, thinking I'm going to be a good fighter because I was I had my Muay Thai, and then these guys, we tap hands and go for a jab, boom, I'm getting taken. I was like, whoa, what is all this? And then I was only there for 4-5 days. And then Eric's like, you need to start your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You need to do wrestling. You need to do this. You need to do this. So it's Eric that guided me. And I was like, what, who? And he's like, and then I don't know how your name came up, but he knew of you. And this was
Rick Young.
Yeah, and this was this is 2006. So he knew of you, like obviously he knows you. And he's like, he's not far from me in Birmingham. They say Birmingham. Yeah, so I was like, okay, so that's what, half an hour journey. So, and then that was it. I come back, and literally the day I come back from California,
you came into
search, and then I came. I saw yourself. I saw Professor Victor as well, and I was just like, this is a whole new experience because I've never I didn't understand the principle of a gi. So it's a whole new journey for me. And from someone that's used to just being stood up to now, like you said as well, when you first experienced being on your back and understanding that you can fight off your back. It's not a negative thing to be on your back. I was like, wow. And then that's it ever since then. But more importantly, and I was saying this to Professor Victor in his podcast as well, if it wasn't for yourself, and I strongly believe there's yourself and Professor Victor and many others as well, don't get me wrong, like Salvo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wouldn't be where it is today. No. And I strongly believe that, and you guys have done so much in this country, in the UK, around the world, but more so in the UK, and for everyone in the UK, you've done so much for the likes of myself and many others to bring the sport to where it should be, and the organization behind it as well to where it should be. And I think it's absolutely phenomenal journey to hear about it all, because like I said, you guys, that there was times before Stevie B's, there's times where it was you're getting halls, getting the mats, rolling on stuff like that. So it's been through hell and back, but you've come out the other end on a high. So.
It's crazy how when you look back for how it started and when you look how it is now, it's just a cherry on the cake.
Absolutely.
But everything, Pindi, everything that is durable, it takes time. Everything that's long lasting, takes time. It's a good memes that it has. Like, for example, if you want to have a Ford Focus, you can have it in one day, but a Rolls Royce takes about 6 months to be able to be done. So things that has durability has to have a very good foundation. And 100%. And one of the missions that I put into myself when I came to UK, it was to spread really the jiu-jitsu.
So you had that in your head from day one?
Yeah, I wanted to spread jiu-jitsu and have the jiu-jitsu lifestyle with him. One of the first conversation, I hope I don't cry. Hey.
No, go for it.
One of the first conversation that I had with my dad before I commit myself to come here, it was the first adult conversation that I had with him, and he was, bro, like, you do production engineering. You're gonna stop this to go to do jiu-jitsu. What jiu-jitsu? I was a brown belt at the time. Yeah. Before I come here, I decided to come here to check it out, the field, see what's happening. So I came here and I decided to come here, and then I have to talk to my dad about it. I said, listen, Dad, look, I really want to be good in this, and I think I can. Yeah. And but how about you're gonna raise your family? Because jiu-jitsu, there's no money in jiu-jitsu whatsoever in Brazil. You know what I mean? But then,
and back then you had no sponsorships.
No sponsorships.
There's nothing like that.
No competition with money. No, that was zero. No. And I remember that I said that, look, if you get the best wall painter in the world, he's all right. If you get the best grass cutter person, if you like gardener in the world, he's fine. Yeah. I want to be the best in jiu-jitsu. I will be fine. I will have my little crew that will back me up. Will like what I do. Yeah. And if you're good in what you do, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're good at it, you will attract people because if especially have the passion about it. And I had the passion. To be able to be good at something, you need to really like what you're doing.
And it's funny you should say that, because I say this repeatedly, if you've got passion for what you do on a daily basis, you never work a day in your life. And
it's a true story.
There you go.
And I have my dad raised me with a very good mentality as well. You just mentioned about his determination is never give up, right? I remember every single time I fell on the road since 2 years old. My dad said, stand up and get ready to fall again. Stand up and get ready to fall again. Really? He put this on my mind, and that stuck to me. So that means that means that I fell. cannot go back in time. Stand up and be ready to not fall again. And if you fall again, be ready to stand up, because it doesn't matter how many times you fall. It's what it matters how many times you want to stand back up
again.
You know, it's like and then comes the Japanese quote, which is like fall 7 times and stand up 8, right?
Yes.
Which is the mindset that I had.
Yes.
With that mindset, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I was doing production engineering and jiu-jitsu at the same time. And production engineering I was doing just because I had to have a diploma to make some money in Brazil. Yeah. But jiu-jitsu is always been the passion. That's what I felt, you know. It doesn't matter if it was on the good, on the bad. I will do it anyway.
Absolutely.
You know. And one thing that caught my attention was a friend of mine was, he got the best workplace. Workplace.
Like workplace. Yeah.
So like he was studying, but he was working for a company.
Yes.
Like that was invited for production. The best one that everyone was aiming for.
Yeah.
Because if you're studying production engineering, you don't usually. It's one of the few courses at the time that even if you workplace, you make money out of it. Most of others just come for the hours. In production engineering, you get a good money because the course was so good, right? Right. So he had the best one. And then I remember he was celebrating his birthday with his dad's birthday, and he was away in the beach. And something happened in the factory. He had to cancel everything that he was planning to go to the factory. And I go like, dude, if I loved what I do, there will be no issue.
Yes.
Because I will take responsibility and accountability. Let's go. But if I don't love, I'm not gonna cancel my family time when I'm already working for the whole time.
Yes.
And on the weekend that I plan, I wouldn't handle that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to be happy this way. I'd rather be less money and doing things that makes me happy, which is gonna make bring the best out of me, so I can give back to the best out of me, and have a good people. And that's why I like always make people laugh and joke around, because I like to be happy.
The energy
I like that.
But you know, you as a young adult then, when you were in these two minds as an engineering and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, 18, 19.
Yeah, 18. So young,
Sorry,
late teens. 19, late teens. Like, did that fear ever kick into you? And what I mean by that is, when I say fear, because you said jiu-jitsu at the time wasn't big. There's no source of income from it. And then, like, what did you visualize at the time? What did you think in your head? Man, how am I going to earn from this? Like, did you have that fear kick in?
We never listen. I had a very big challenge to decide what I want to do.
Yes.
When I was 15, okay, comes to the university times, you know, like, what am I going to be? What am I? I want to be an athlete, but what if it doesn't work out? It doesn't mean that if you win a brown belt, doesn't mean that you're going to be a world champion. It doesn't mean. And at the time, you only made money if you are very good at it, and then doing sponsorships, which is temporary.
Yes.
You know?
True.
Because there was no, the mentality of the jiu-jitsu back in the day, it wasn't, it's like only one person was doing had the club, and nobody was allowed to open up schools around, because this person had the control of everything. You know, that's what the change with Master Carlos Gracie Jr. said. Listen, come on, we should all grow together.
Absolutely.
Because together we're strong, instead of trying to become like those
individuals.
The concept of the lion and the pride.
Yes.
You know, Master Carlos says this a lot. He goes like a lion and the pride is the only one that can mate with all the lionesses, and all the young lions cannot do it, because this is the stronger, until they fight each other and beat the little big lion, then he dies by himself. And now he does exactly the same with the other.
Thing.
So the other young, so he didn't want to be the old lion by himself. So what he said, he joined everyone and everyone together. That's the same mentality in jiu-jitsu. If you see, there's a lot of cycles happens in the sport.
Absolutely.
That the professor create a very good professor. When this professor thinks he's better than this, get out and open a school just cross the road. Instead of doing that, give it the opportunity as a career, so you can spread that, and everyone's still on the same team, with the integrity, with the brotherhood, with the self-development.
The whole coach behind it.
About your question, you know, I did have doubts. Never felt perfect. You know, even my best tournament, when I look back in the day, which was in 2009 at the ADCC weight in absolute, dude, I was going to fight before the fight. Oh my God, I'm not ready. Let's go. You know, so it doesn't gonna feel perfect. All you need to understand is, like, as long as you are willing to do whatever it takes to keep on going, you're gonna get to the end. You cannot base yourself on nobody else's success. You need to just become,
Do
all you can do,
you.
you become better than yourself. All you can do is self-development. It's the only thing that you can control.
True.
When people say, freedom and if happiness comes from the inside, that's what it means. You cannot be focused on the others' happiness for your happiness. And you cannot make other people feel bad so you feel happy. All you need to do, understand, accept yourself. Learn yourself. See what you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you're capable of or you cannot capable of, and explore. And I had a lot of doubts, and that's why I wanted to be a dentist like my dad.
Okay.
You know, but I didn't have enough grades to be able to go to the dentist because all I was doing was playing and doing sports.
Great.
So which I love it, and I was a happy kid. I enjoyed it.
Never regret.
Never regret it. So the only thing that was the main click for me was that, okay, I knew I was on the right path because I was, I won the Panams and the blue belt, and then, the purple belt, I went to the finals of the world, and then the brown belt, I just got my brown belt, and then I got third in the Brazilian championships. But I was in the circuit, so I knew something out there. I would do something right.
You could feel it. You could feel it.
And I was passionate about it.
Yes.
And my click was realizing that if you love what you do, I realized that in life it has ups and downs. I realized that a while back. Okay, like sometimes we're on the high, sometimes on the down. But in jiu-jitsu, as I was talking to you before, I was teaching and then sharing for free in Brazil anyway because I loved it, right? So if I'm getting money, it's high.
Absolutely.
If there's no money, I still do it anyway because I love
it.
It's your love. And that was the main click. So when I realized that's when I had the conversation with my dad about the gardener and the wall painter. So when he goes, "You're ready. You're ready. You're ready to go." Then I went through, and he gave me the blessing. I came here, and funny enough, I told the story. When I bought my tickets to come I was going to stay with Alan Pozo. Alan Pozo used to train the same team. So Alan Pozo was doing just on the sideline, jiu-jitsu just for fun. And then he invited me to his house to stay there and then see what's up. So I was going to stay for 2 months. So I stayed at 1 week with him. Then when I called Roger to say, "Roger, you have something to do with in England, right? Because I'm going next week." He said, "Braulio, I am boarding to London right now." I said, "No way." I said, "Dude, so we see each other next week. Man, we're going to train. It's going to be fun." So we went. So he said, "Braulio, look, I'd love to help you here in London, but I already have Felipe Souza coming from Brazil that I already agreed with my dad."
Sure.
But my dad opened, the first school that my dad opened in Europe was in Birmingham. And as we are moving,
was that the custard factory?
Yes, the custard factory, the Gracie Barra, Birmingham. Right? It's the first academy in Europe.
Yeah.
So then, when I came, and then he said, "I'll have a seminar at Birmingham next week. We go there. If people like you, maybe you can start teaching there because we can all be there."
Yeah.
So I came with him in the seminar, and then I met a Barry Foley, Andy Roberts, Rachel, and Glenn, Little Paul, Stevie Bees, and then
all of a sudden
they liked it, and I said, "Brother, you need to come here." And then I start coming every week, and then suddenly I said, "You know what? We have a house here. You stay with us." And then I got the visa, and oh man, so many. And then since then, we've been here.
That's amazing.
And the best thing that I did.
Absolutely.
And I believe that everything happens for a reason, and that things will always work out if you are honest with yourself.
Yes.
Right. And then when I was honest with myself, I wanted to do something that I feel passionate about it. And independent of how much of the money it's going to make, it might not be a millionaire, and I don't aim to be a millionaire, but I wanted, as long as I be able to live doing what I love, and then spread jiu-jitsu all over the Europe. That's my main goal. Yeah. Pindi, there was times that I used to teach a class in Birmingham in the morning. Yeah. In the afternoon in Sheffield, in the evening in Bradford, and come back home. That's every Wednesdays.
Wow.
Every Wednesday was this. So it's like spreading. Then Milton Keynes on Friday with Abby. Man, it's like all over the place. And then
you're burning yourself.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was needed this spark to be able.
This is around early 2000s, right? This is
2002, 2003.
Yeah, I remember because that was like, I never did it that early. I started in 2006, but for me, it was like I remember everyone going on about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and what it is. I remember Paul Kelly saying it, like coming over, like in.
I was just with Paul Kelly this morning. He said to say goodbye. Regards here.
Hi, Paul. But yeah, I remember like Paul Kelly saying, "Oh, I think did you teach for Paul Kelly?" It was
yes,
I remember him saying,
I was
"Calm down, calm down."
Victor
And
came
I was
through him.
Yeah, and I was a bit arrogant. This was before 2000. I was like, I'm not going to roll around on the floor. I'll stick to straight. But it's crazy, isn't it? And that's why you say everything happens for a reason. And it's just that network, and it's amazing.
It is humbling. Jiu-Jitsu is humbling, right? Because it's it's all about understand concepts. When you are being told that's how you should fight, you know, and then that's what your concept of fight it is. Of
course.
You get, and everyone playing the same game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun as well,
great,
right?
man.
But in Jiu-Jitsu, it is it's not, it was a little frowned upon before because it's not, if you grab someone, it's like, are you hugging each other, Yeah, but every time there is a clinch and you say stop, in reality, there will be no referee to say stop.
You have to carry on.
And that's why Jiu-Jitsu only starts, is the grab, that's the whole of our universe. So as well comes down to humbling, right? To understand.
Absolutely.
Be humble to understand that you won't be able to punch the guy anymore. So you need to I take my hats off for people like you, for people like I embrace.
Yeah.
Even though coming from a different martial arts and then restart from zero. And it shows a lot of foot in the ground and humbleness.
I'll be honest with you, and for me, it's people like yourself to see it, because like recently I've been hearing a lot of people with their to improve my jiu-jitsu. I'm even thinking of starting judo now. Do you know what I mean? I like getting myself a white belt for judo, but it's something I've been contemplating with the idea just to improve, because if I want to try and be the best, you got to go in these different styles
you cannot hide in jiu-jitsu. Either you ignore it and don't do it all, and keep your old mind, I'll still doing what I do, or you go, you know what, that is something that I can add. And I think you got to find the balance on everything. Of course. I love striking. It's necessary if you have both.
Even better.
You have punch, kicks, and grappling, and wrestling. What else you need?
Exactly. What more do you need? Exactly, you're right. But going back to what you were saying, so you were not burning yourself out, but you were traveling all around the UK, teaching twice a day, 3 times a day. But also, more importantly, around that time, not only around that time, even after, you were still competing at the highest of levels in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, nowadays, athletes are slightly different, because nowadays the money's there for the athletes. There's ambassadors programs, there's sponsorship, and when I say sponsorship, there's actual good sponsorship now. Not like, oh, here's a patch, just take our supplements. It's not and
you actually get paid.
You're actually getting some good money from it, even in competitions now as well. But back then, when it's true. There's nothing there. But how did you, again, physically, now mentally I know because you're hungry, you're going to do it. But physically speaking, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as much as I love it, it's demanding on the body. It's very demanding. So you're coaching, and I've been in your classes. You don't just coach from the sidelines. You're involved. You're involved. You get involved with everyone. You get your hands on them, and it's great. How was you managing that? Because technically speaking, you're training about 3 or 4, 5 times a day,
every day.
And again, no disrespect. I'm not the one to judge, but financially, like you're trying to feed your body as well, and it's not like you can't keep surviving on subways on a daily basis. So how was you managing all of that from a...
I think my drive was I learned, my foundation in Recife helped me a lot on that. Remember, my dad saying, stand up.
Yeah.
Never give up.
Yes.
And the resilience that you learn in Jiu-Jitsu, right? Yeah. Now, one of the lessons that started making me more confident on take my actions was when I started going to Rio for the first time, right? Okay. Look, imagine I started in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of kids here, 16 of us, white belts. I am one of the 16. Then they start coming new people, right? Yep. So I am I was the tallest at the time.
Of course.
I used to play guard, so a white belt when you learn some, and then I got good in the guard. But nobody used to pass my guard. But not because I was amazing, just because I was one of the first generations, right?
Yeah, cool.
But then when I got my blue belt after 10 months and I went to Rio, I was very good while holding the guard. But then when it didn't go to plan, someone passed my guard, that was it. It's mount submission. So I start to understand, okay, that is levels and levels, right? And then I realized then, how am I going to escape side control if nobody passes my guard?
Yeah.
So I came back with the idea I have to do something to make it up with what I've got, to make the most of what I've got. Can I live in Rio? No. You're going to stop jiu-jitsu? No. So what are you going to do to get better? I have to sorry.
Yeah, you can say fuck shit, anything, and it's cool, man. It's cool. Don't worry.
I said, bro, you're not gonna have what else you need. You need to do specifically now. So I have start training specifically. And then when the academy that I start training, there was a lot of ego, at the time. So you cannot lose. If you lose, someone start talking about you. And so I start finding different ways of how I improve myself. And was, you know what? I start having extra classes, doing specifics after the class. Start with my side control. Let's try to escape. Now start on the mount. Let's try to escape. Now I go on your side control. Let's try to escape. And then we start, and then it was start sharing. When I start sharing knowledge, I start understanding more about jiu-jitsu, because when they ask me, what did you do that and why? I have to understand why I'm doing so I can explain. So when I was explaining the why I'm doing it, and I start figuring out, holy moly, that's why I'm doing it. And then I start thinking in my own box. So then I figured that out, that by learning through those specific training, not waiting the scenario to happen in the sparring,
of course,
but specifically, I will have a better timing
knowledge and
when it happens in the sparring. So I because I've been there. So I start putting myself in different situations. Even sometimes in the middle of the sparring, I'll try to do something new. The guy passed my guard. And then a lot of people say, oh, I can't believe they passed my guard. On my mind, I know. And then I'm learning. And I put into practice. So that mentality helped me to improve and become the brown belt that I was before I come here. So when I came here, as I was used to train with people the lower level than me, I carried on here. And I was very lucky that I had Roger, as Roger's my best friend. And I'm here because of him. And then we were best trained partners. And we complement each other. Like I am the way that I am because Roger helped me. And then Roger got as well because we help each other too. We complement each other. And then I had him as a reference.
Sure.
Of what? Come on. He's the grandson of the creator. He knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, of course.
He had the informations, and I had the drive, and I had the understanding on how to self-improve without training with people on the same level. So what I used to do, I used to train here with blue belts. When I came here, blue belts and white belts. That's the highest grade was a blue belt.
Blue belt, yeah.
And
that was very rare as well.
Very rare. Blue belt was very rare. That when I came here, the belt was given when Roger came here to the same night I came.
Wow.
Right? So they just became blue belt. So then I was with the same mentality, okay, let's do specifics. Let's do that. And then as I start sharing everywhere I go, I was self-teaching myself. So I was in every concept that I spoke to Roger, we discover something, I go back that and I start teaching all my privates, all my classes. So I keep re-drilling. And that was a very big impact on my game and helped me for the first time, right? As I came here, and for the first time in my life, I worked out in 2002. Hey, 2002. 2002. First time I worked out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 22 years old. Then I started training with Stevie B. So for the first time I worked out to help my jiu-jitsu. 2 months training, boom, and I went to fight the Panamas as a brown belt. Remember, I was in September, I lost in the semifinals in the Brazilian Championship as a brown belt. I came here in November.
Yes.
And I fought in December, and February was the Panamas in California.
Okay.
Right? So for the first time in my life, because I wasn't studying, I wasn't doing my chores, I was only focused on my jiu-jitsu. Train. We went to compete at the Panamas. I was training at that time only with white and blue belt. I went to the Panamas, and I submitted 7 fights in 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Weight and absolute champion, brown belt. I flew.
Wow.
Why? Because I was so sharp on timing, because I put myself train, even though training with white and blue belts, but there was no hesitation when it happens, because I've been there so many times, and I start understanding why I'm doing it. That was a big catch, and that was the that competition was. See,
Yeah.
I told you, you're in the right way. Because
yeah.
that was the only thing that was missing for me was I need to put time, work out, and see
where you can where you can develop.
Where can you go?
Yeah, where can you go?
And the way that it developed in 2 months, it went fly out, and then you get the momentum. You know,
there you go.
First time I fought the black belt in the Panams, I went to the finals with Jacare. I lost to Jacare in the black belt there for the first time, but I went to the finals.
Yeah,
beat the world champion, current world champion, by submission. Then my first world championships, I got the gold medal. So that was like a reassurance of all the work that I was doing was right. Then I wanted to pass it on these 2 people. So basically, I didn't want to. I've always wanted to be. I always like challenges. You know? So when I always grew up in Recife, saying, "What's the point you put so much effort in jiu-jitsu? Because you're never going to be able to win against guys in Rio." I heard that up until black belt. Okay, yeah, but blue belt is okay, but the purple belt is going to be different. I go do it in but brown belt is going to be the other. Okay, now it's black belt. Boom, bam. And I always like to prove people wrong. And you probably heard in the martial arts world that it's very hard, very unlikely. At the time I heard that it's impossible to be, if you're a very good fighter, you cannot be a good professor, and vice versa.
Yes, yeah.
You know? And I said, no. I want to be a good fighter, and I also want to be a good professor because I have taught myself through the path, a lot of reference. I learned a lot from Master Carlos Gracie Jr., from Master Tosa, Roger. It's not that, Zé Radiola when I was back there. But what I'm saying is that I figured ways on how to do by myself when there's nobody around.
Of course.
And if that helped me, because I had the click of understanding how to,
and with the Pacific,
And then I started doing specific and sharing more and more. And I said, you know what, I want to be a champion, but also that can be a good professor. And then I focus on being a good professor. So every class, as you know, I put a lot of because
you were hands on.
Yeah.
And that's and I think you've passed that on to generations and generations and generations. I keep saying that, but like the one, and this is no disrespect to anyone else, but one thing I found with yourself, as well as Professor Victor at the time, you guys were always hands-on, and this is why I'm referring back to my question, because you were hands-on with your coaching or teaching, shall I say? And when I say hands-on, I don't mean violent. Please. When I say hands-on, you were constantly involved, and I love seeing that, and I think it's great. And I know a lot of professors out there, a lot of coaches out there are like that as well now. But you guys set that trend because does that make, in my opinion, you set that trend.
Proof it works, right?
Absolutely. But on top of that, this is what I was saying, because you were competing at the same time, same with like some of the other higher level guys as well. So it was quite demanding on physically on the body. Now, earlier on when you're younger, I felt this as well. I'm not saying I'm old now, but I understand this. Like we could train and train and train. Wake up next morning, jump out of bed, train. Older you get in, it starts.
You start feeling.
But you suffered a very bad injury in the late in the later 2000s, and again
2010.
2009, 10, and again it's your mindset, and this is what I was explaining at the beginning of the podcast. When you hear the mindset, and it's just going to inspire you guys listening at home, because this is the no give up attitude. This is it's not never back down. That's how I'm calling, but it's almost like, okay, you said you like challenges. Here's another one. Boom, let's go for it. Do you know what I mean? Let's go. And it's that fighting mentality. Look, so
I'm kind of guy that I'd rather pay to see. You know? I would hate to regret something that I didn't do. Yeah. That's the worst for me.
Yes.
I'd rather do it and don't do it right.
Of course.
And then wondering, what if I had done?
Sitting on yourself thinking, oh man, if I did
I would be able to live with myself. Yeah. And that's why I carried on jiu-jitsu. Because I would hate to be, in my age now, wondering, man, if I carried on, look, imagine what happened. Imagine now, Pindi. Imagine if I'm in Recife now, 41 years old, and looking the jiu-jitsu that it is now. Man, actually was okay on that. I could have been, but I was never going to find out. But I didn't want to put this in test. I wanted to do it. So this mentality has been, it's not that suddenly I've always had. Yeah. It was the development of mentality, from my dad, from the lessons of Master Carlos Gracie Jr.
Of course.
How he listen, you can do it. you focus, you can do it. The positive mindset, focus on the positive, you know. You hurt yourself, so like try to respect, treat yourself, but do what you can. You can only do what you can. You cannot do more than you can, right? I remember the first injury I had. I twist my knee. I was a blue belt.
Yeah.
And I look at my knee and I go like, I couldn't lift my leg out because my knee would turn. I go, oh my God, Jiu-Jitsu is over for me. It's over. Oh my God.
Panic.
Yeah, it's over for me. Like, man, if I cannot lift my leg, imagine if I'm gonna sweep someone.
Yeah, of course.
How can I sweep someone?
You're not gonna,
Right? But then I start learn a lot about my body.
Yes.
I've always been very curious, you know. I try to do acrobacy, you know, like a handstand, you know, bending different ways. I've always kind of tried to understand my body, right?
Of course.
And I realize as well that our body is incredible. There's a lot. How the regeneration, you know, I mean, how it can fix it.
It's an amazing thing, man.
I saw Ronaldo, okay, the phenomenon. He had a surgery on his knee 4 months before the World Cup, and he went to the World Cup, and it was the high scorer of that.
Yes,
with the ACL reconstruction, and within 4 months he was playing in the World Cup. And this was one lead. Yeah. I've always liked to learn from other people. Always. A lot of people, who is your idol? Who is your... No, I don't have one.
Yeah,
all of them, there's something about them that is good, that worked for them. I try to understand the concept. So I read, so this associates, hold on a second, look, remember when I hurt my knee that day? It came back to normal. Look, now Ronaldo, look. Okay, so carry on. And then I remember in 2008, you know, I really had to do a surgery on my knee. And I was inspired by Ronaldo. I did my surgery 4 months before.
Okay,
the Worlds in 2008.
Yeah.
And then I went to fight at the Worlds. I couldn't touch my heel on my butt. That was how bad it still was.
At the Worlds?
At the Worlds.
Oh, my.
Whoa.
I never knew that.
I couldn't touch.
Wow.
So I went to the finals, and I lost to Andre Galvão in the finals. He swept me exactly the same, so I couldn't move. But but that was like, see, you can.
You can do it.
You can.
So it's all about mindset.
Mind.
Yeah.
Master Carlos always said is all up here.
Yes.
You know? And this, I never had that mentality from my brought up when I was young. In my city, people at the time was very backwards. Cool. Didn't have the knowledge, the understanding of the spirituality. They understand that if you know the secret of the universe, you know, when you put the mindset, the universe conspires according to your choices and the intentions of the choices that you have. So, you know, I was always learning, try to evolve self-development, like one of the biggest values of our team.
100%.
I try to become a better version in all ways, right?
Absolutely.
And I got a lot of inspired by those success stories.
Yeah.
So I became one success story because I got second place at the world's black belt with an injury.
With the hardly a limb.
Right? So this was getting me into it. And then I had my shoulder. I had a surgery on my shoulder. And then I came back and I'm back again on the one. I said, okay, man. So whatever it is, just one of the lessons that I had as well was like, okay, I couldn't train it because my knee was bad, but I was training different areas of my knee.
Of course.
Of my body. So I adjusted. Instead of going to the left, I started going to the right.
And that improved.
And then improved and then find different ways. And then I cross-reference. And then I became better fighter, more complete. And I said, dude, you can focus on the positive. Yes. So that mentality over and over again throughout, day in, day out in academies, it make you see your own progress, right? And it happened with my neck. That was the toughest thing, bro. That was tough.
I remember that.
It was the scariest thing that I've ever been through in my life. The scariest thing in my life. It's the scariest thing because, for example, when I was training for Andrew Wiener in Nottingham. Actually, went to visit Victor. Victor was living in Mansfield. And then I said, okay, man, you know what? Because I was already being a ADCC world champion, so MMA was my next stage, next challenge. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to train there at the Red House or Black House, whatever it's called, and with Andrew Wiener. And then I went to do a single leg, and then he tried to lift me up, and I tried to stop with my head, so I fell my head first, and I stayed there. It was the worst feeling that I ever had in my life. Because we are, as human, you know, if you lose someone we love ourselves,
Of course,
right?
of course.
We love our mom, our dad, but we love ourselves. It's ourselves. We gotta love ourselves, right?
100%.
When your parents or a relative dies, it's sad, very sad.
Yeah.
But imagine if you could see yourself dying, right? For me,
That's
what I felt, because I didn't feel pain. It didn't hurt. All it felt was nothing. When you say numb, it's not numb. You don't feel numb. Numbness is a feeling itself.
Yeah.
It's you're in the clouds. But I am fully aware of everything.
Were you awake?
Completely.
Wow.
I know. All I felt is like someone turned off the button. Pop! I cannot. My hand was backwards, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm paralyzed." I cried, and the first thing came to my mind was my kids that I couldn't pick up.
Yeah.
My junior just was born. He was born in 2009. I said, "Oh my God, my kids!" First thing came to my mind, and the second thing came to my mind was like I had a fight scheduled to fight against Jacare in 2011. I said, the fight against the guy, because Jacare is the person who I never scored one advantage point on him.
So it's the guy that's technically pushing you.
Yes, he was my biggest rival. I fought him 4 times and I lost 4 times. It was submission, points, and points. So I was getting better every time. But then, is this opportunity for me to fight him? And that was already on my mind because I won in 2009, the absolute in ADCC.
Yeah.
So that leads me to fight him in 2011 in Nottingham. Exactly the same place where I hurt myself. And I said, oh man, it's over. I cannot believe. And then I said, oh my God, it's paralyzed. First thing that came to my mind, I cannot feel nothing. The guy said, please bring my arm. And he brought my arm, Pindi. I saw my arm and I'm still waiting. Where's my arm? Oh my God, this is my arm. Like, because you feel someone else's arm. It's like your body, you look at your body and it's not you.
Wow.
It's someone.
Wow.
Imagine if I'm touching your hand here.
and
That's the feeling that you have, me touching your hand here now.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. It's someone else's body. I said, how are they going to get out on that one? Huh? You know, my mind said, first thing, guys, don't touch me. She called the ambulance. Saved first. And then after a few minutes, I start feeling the tingling and the numbness on my edge of my toe.
Okay.
And then go to my knees. And then go up here. I said, I'm good now. I'm happier now. Over here.
Oh, there you go.
And then hospital was 24 hours without moving. And then strapped on. And the doctor said, listen, you're lucky to actually be alive, man, the way they happen. And basically, the 2 discs. Yeah. But snap the spinal cord and it shuts the body down. And then the problem is there was 2 discs, right? Not only one. So up until then, only one I could do a surgery and go back. He goes, look, if you want to be a sportsman, forget about it, because even golf you'll be able to do. If you want to do it, darts, it'll be okay. I said, I don't like darts. I like, but not that much. Yeah. And then I said, okay, as me being persistent, I said, I need to have a second opinion and a third opinion. And then I went to one of the best physios as Kevin in London. I forgot his surname, but Kevin, I said, Kevin, can you please tell me anybody, the best neurosurgeon I want to have? This guy, Dr. Peter Hamelin, is amazing, one of the best in the whole world. Yeah. Have a consultation with him. Kevin Liddell, this was the physio. So I went to the Peter Hamelin and he said, okay, challenging, but I managed to do with this new technology, with the 2 discs, I put a rugby player at the professional league.
Ah, okay.
I said, I like it.
This is what I want to hear. This is what I want to hear. Yeah.
And then, basically, I went to, okay, so when we do the surgery, okay, we do surgery in February 3rd, 2011. That was exactly 8 months before the fight against Jacare. Yeah. Right? The guy that I never scored an advantage. Right? I did a crazy thing. I never spoke that loud about it. People who are close to me knows about it. Because I don't recommend to people. Yes. But I did a stupid thing. But for me, it felt right. I felt under control before the surgery.
Okay.
Steve Fun.
Yes.
It's a very good friend of mine. He had cancer. You know, he was a blue belt, and then that guy was a warrior. That guy, he was a worker. He worked hard, and he was that determined, and he wasn't never give up mindset.
Actually, I remember,
you know,
yeah, I remember.
and then he had to take the kidney, stitch back on the mat. He had to take the femur replacement back on the mat. He even done his back on the mat. He got his purple belt. You know, he passed out in January 2011, I think. And I said, man, I decided, I don't know why, but I just said, you know what? I'll fight the Europeans. Okay. 3 days before the surgery. I fought the Europeans because I wanted to give him the medal. Celebrate. I just wanted to, you know, some things, I don't like. He was a warrior. He never gave up. And then, you know what? He came back. I will go like that, and I'll see. You know, of course, there was a cautious in my strategy. I wasn't 100% far from it, but my strategy was protecting my neck all the time.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't going to be silly. I feel the control, even though, you know, that's why when I fought against the world champion, Daniel Moraes. No, Sergio Moraes. Okay. UFC as well. I fought him in the final. He just won against Kron the world championships the previous year. He went to a double to take me down. I sit down straight away because I didn't want to use my neck. And then I managed to unify. And then God knows what it is. And then I dedicated to Steve Fan, brought the medal. I flew there, came back the next day to the funeral. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. And then I did my surgery. And my surgery was on Tuesday. That was my surgery. And then, you know, but that was I think it's the determination, you know, that you believe in yourself.
It's that, but do you think it's the out-of-body experience as well? Does that make sense? That goes to show, and this is what the point I'm trying to make is that you're so engrossed psychologically on a target that you're gonna get.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you haven't got the start.
It doesn't matter. I would go for it.
You're still gonna go for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And also, I'm fully aware that if I could do an injury, could affect me
your whole career.
I was ready to take the punishment.
You did this for Steve, and that's absolutely amazing, man.
That's the biggest challenge came on my career. It was fight Jacare. How can I beat a guy that I never scored 1 point? Fought him 4 times, never lost, never won, never scored a point. And I had a fight against him 8 months after my surgery, which before the surgery, I'm already below 70%.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to do the surgery, so I'm going to even below that. And I'm going to have to spend 4 months building my body to be able to be as I was before the surgery.
Yeah.
To then have 4 months to fight against a guy with the never score a point in my ground that people don't know what I'm going through because I'm not sharing. So they're expecting me to be the Braulio against Jacare.
Because just to slightly interrupt, the social media wasn't. It was big. It was big on Facebook, but there was no Instagram at the time. There was no TikTok, Snapchat.
And I was keeping quiet because I didn't want to expose, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I was Pindi, I was filming from the before the surgery to after the surgery, and every day I was doing a little bit of documenting because I was thinking about Jacare since I went to the doctors.
Yeah, you thinking about him on the mats when Andre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then 4 months working with what I could, you know, making my whole body, any part of my body that I could move strong as soon as possible. So, and then I started doing my training. I trained, like I hate training in the mornings, early mornings. But that was the only time that Jamie Harper could teach me. Yes. So I was 6:30 every day, man. Every other day, 6:30. I didn't miss one training because
I've seen the documentary.
Yeah, from Stuart Cooper. Yeah. I didn't want to have an excuse that I didn't know what is enough, you know. So he might train as much as I did, but not more than me. You know, that was my mentality. And every day, man, going home, thinking from the academy, go sleep, wake up, thinking about the fight. You know, I'll imagine, visualizing what I'm going to do. And it's incredible. It's incredible. When I got starstruck when I fight him. I shake his hand and I go, I can't believe this is happening. This is actually, he's here. He's here and I'm here and I'm ready. And I am ready to go. And then I put every single tactic, strategy I put in play in practice. I applied it. And ended up, even I was prepared. I had my plan B, my plan C, my plan D. If something goes wrong, and I have to go up to my plan D. And I end up in the end, man. When I got his back in the like 1 minute left, it was 30 minutes of a battle, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I managed to take him down on the beginning of the fight, which nobody ever put him on his butt.
Because I was about to say, and you were saying in the previous four matches, you've never scored a point. And now look,
I didn't stop. I controlled the whole fight, and then I proved there once again that if you really believe, and you do what it takes, if you are ready to do what it takes, you know, because it's very easy to see, oh, look, the cherry on the cake is beautiful and nice, but whatever has been done before, it's not beautiful, it's not easy, it's not pleasant, only pleasant, you know?
People only see, boom, the spotlights are on you, arm in the air.
But you don't need to be the toughest person in the world. You don't need to, because I'm not the toughest. I'm normal. Listen, I have my flaws, you know what I mean? Like, but one thing that I prove that is that if you go and don't focus on nobody else, but try to be as good as good, because that's what I could only measure me against myself for the fight against Jacare. I wanted to beat him, yes, but I cannot be better than him if I cannot be better than myself.
Yeah, of course.
The challenge is he was the target, but I wasn't focused on how only him. I need to be on that fight after my surgery, after my injury, my surgery, preparation, rehab. I can only do, the only thing I can do is to be as good as I could possibly be for the competition day. That's all. I cannot do nothing now. There's nothing else to do. I have to be on top of my game. It doesn't matter what it is. So that's what I had. And I was committed to it. And then I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be difficult. I don't know how much hard it was going to be, but I was ready to do whatever it takes.
And you had that mindset that was not.
And that's the difference, I think. That's
absolutely.
You know, I have won like that, and I have lost because I didn't have that.
Okay.
You know, it's not that once you do, you'll figure it out. Because against Andre Galvão, I lost Andre Galvão after the Jacare, right, in the super match.
Yes.
But I didn't have. I was the same because I had some issues, personal issues. Like going through divorce.
Life gets in the way.
And also, I didn't have as much hunger as So it's not about only knowing what it takes, because I already knew what it takes.
Yes.
But you got to be focused. You need to go focus on the targets.
That's the thing with an athlete's mindset. And an athlete's mindset is a very it's not an arrogant way of saying it. It's a very selfish mindset. And you have to be.
If you're not selfish, you can't get it.
You just hit the nail on the head. If you're trying to focus as an athlete purely on your opponent and the competition and yourself, you'll succeed. Okay, but when you've got, unfortunately, life comes in the way. Not to saying that you won't succeed, but it's slightly more difficult to. Because you've got other focuses going on.
Everyone has 24 hours a day.
Is
what you do with it, man.
Exactly,
that's the big difference.
Absolutely, 100%. I completely agree with that. And then linked with your competition side of it, when was it you decided, boom, as hard as it is?
Yeah, I never said that.
You're not.
I never retired.
So we can see you again.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have a desire to do one less.
Yeah.
Still, I still have the desire. I'm not sure. I'm not the same thing. You see, I am not cutting the rope.
No,
I'm not hanging my gi.
Good.
But if I feel that I don't want to be the guy who retired, I will be 50 years old. I'm not going to be retired. I don't know.
Of course.
Yeah, maybe has been. I don't know. It's all about how I feel, right? So what happened is my lessons through my career gave me a lot of hints about life, right? Okay. And I became a better person myself through jiu-jitsu. And then for many, many different ways, And then with the understanding jiu-jitsu concepts made me even better in life, because it's similar. The blueprint to be a successful person in a particular way is the same blueprint in any field.
Yes.
So I understood in jiu-jitsu with reference in other areas, and I made it happen in jiu-jitsu, right? But one thing that I didn't, in 2009, it changed to me, my mindset for competition, because what happened, I need to go back to 2005, when I went to fight at the ADCC. I was training in Roger. Roger was on top of his game, and he went to the ADCC, and he beat everyone.
Yes.
Tough fights, but he submitted most of everyone. Yeah. And he became weight and absolute champion in the same day in ADCC. When I saw it, by being part of his training, and I was so proud. I was crying. I was happy. I was picking him up on the mat. It's incredible.
There's a picture on.
Yes, this is nice. And I was so happy, that he achieved. And at the same time, because my goal at the time was I wanted to be a champion. That was what I wanted to be at the time, 2005. I want to be the best in the world. That's my goal, Yeah. And then I came back to the hotel, and I was thinking, man, I just wonder what he's feeling right now with himself. Yeah. He's on having his shower now. He won best grappler in the world. 2005. Submitted everyone weight and absolute. What an amazing story, right? What an amazing thing. In my mind, I always thought that this, on that time, I thought nobody ever would be able to do that. Yeah. And I was fine with it, and I was just proud of him, right? In 2009, for the first time, because in 2007, I was invited 1 month before, but they put me in above weight division, and I went against Xande Ribeiro, ended up in the final against Xande. Yeah, and we did the best fight of the tournament. Wow. So this automatically put me in the spot to be in 2009, guaranteed you're going to fight, because it's horrible when you train that you don't know you're going to fight. Yes. It's terrible, right? Yes. You're going to train, but you're not sure if you're going to be. It don't give you 100%. It's difficult. Yeah. So after that tournament, when I went to the finals in 2007 with Xande, the super heavyweight, I got the guarantee that I will be fighting in 2009. I said, okay, that's it. So now, can I go? So I did my surgery in 2008. Yes. The knee. And then I went to the final, Andre Galvão, lost, and that was my comeback up. Bam. I started and I went to the Capital Challenge in Jordan. For the first time, I won at prize money, for the first time ever. Nice. Right? I was in 2008 fighting Leo Leite, world champion, Gabriel Vela, world champion, all the top guys at the time. And then I made a good. I was so happy to 20 grand. What? Yeah. And then it was a streak in coming back. And Europeans, I won weight and absolute. Yeah. And then Panams, Worlds, I won the Worlds, and then ADCC camp. Let's train. And then I start training, and then every time up until then, I competed, right? And then you go, you almost. The guy swiped you, score a point, and then you go, come back, he cannot do this again, I'm going to get better. 2009 was a little bit different. When I won the Abu Dhabi weight and absolute, right? Beating and tapping all the top guys, like Marcelo Garcia, Andre Galvão, Lovato Jr., the Estima lock, first Estima lock, very strong on Galvão. Xande Ribeiro submitted in the final. And I won weight and absolute, but I didn't. Everything that I planned worked. Yeah. It was like it didn't feel right before, but when I was fighting, I was giving my best. But man, it was bam, 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 bam. And when I see, I won weight and absolute, very similar to how Roger did in 2005. Yeah. And I was like, wow, what?
How does this just happen?
And then I went to the bathroom. And I had a shower. And I saw, that's what Roger felt that day. It felt weird for me. Because I had put my focus too much on that. To the point that I didn't have no plans for Monday. it felt empty because I achieved more than I possibly expected.
Yeah.
I didn't expect go that well. I didn't make no mistakes. Like, I tapped all the guys, all the best guys in the world. I tapped in class, in style. And I was like, but I'm still the same guy. It didn't get like a tink.
Oh, you didn't get that
level up. It's not like that.
No.
So, and then I got to the point that I lost even my computer. I left on the security check back into UK because I was worried that I was stressed to fly because I was worried that I might die. That's it. My life is done.
Wow.
I was worried. Do you know when the guy from La Bamba, his prime, he cracked, people, I don't want this to happen. I was afraid of this stuff. I said, is that it? Is my purpose this? Is this?
my life now, and that's it. Yeah.
I did it. I don't want to die. I want to carry on. And then it got me a little empty. I was happy. I'm still proud, and I would go back and do anything. But it was a little bit of awakening for me you need to change a little bit the focus, not only on competition. Because if you win, beat everyone, what's next? Keep beating again. It's not the same. I get bored of repeating the same thing over again. So, and then I'm like, okay, I've won everything that I could. So that's why I started going to the MMA. I want to do some next challenge, But the MMA, I already didn't put as much powerful because I didn't want to, in 10 years down the line, I feel the same by achieving, imagine, UFC champion, best pound for pound.
Yeah.
And you go like,
now what?
You know what I mean? So then I started thinking, talking a lot of Master Carlos Gracie Jr. And he gave me a lot of advice. It's like, for example, bro, you need to focus on things that gets better with time.
Yeah.
You need to focus on things that, what is your competition going to get better with time? So focus on, and then he's giving those hints, and I will start try to understand that mountain that I climbed for the competition, I climbed, and then when you get to the top, you'd have to go back down. And then I didn't want to have that feeling to, and then what I wanted was to figure out a mountain that might not ever end. Because I just keep enjoying the path. Because it's not, when you get there, you enjoy, but then nothing else to do anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I wanted to, and then the lesson that I got from Master Carlos was like, brother, look, you had a success story. Now help someone else to make a success story. Then help someone else to make a success story.
Because that's what I was gonna get onto that. Because from an athletic point of view, from an athlete's point of view, from your personal career in competing, you got to the top of the mountain, which is phenomenal. With the obstacles you faced, the injuries you faced, the personal life lessons you faced. There's so much in the way, but you still got there. But from someone looking from the outside, myself, and I'm seeing that, it's so amazing to see, and it's like you used Roger in 2005 as a reference point.
Yes.
You achieved it 4 years later. And we were looking at you on the outside and thinking, wow, that's like, whoa, like cheering you on and everything. And it's great to see. But then on top of that, you were doing it from a professor's point of view as well, in the sense where you were teaching it. Now, I'm thankful that I got to meet you quite early, not from the beginning, not when you were upstairs at Steve V's, but when you got downstairs in the blue, in the L-shaped one.
The L-shaped one.
Absolutely beautiful academy, but I've seen you progress to the new academy, your second academy in Birmingham, and then now where you are, which is absolutely, I love this one. It's funky.
It's beautiful.
Guys, you got to see on Instagram. Yeah, it's like a funky. It's in Birmingham, but it feels like you're in London or New York.
It's a vibe, man.
It's the vibe. It's awesome, guys, man. You got to visit it, okay? But we'll get onto that. But what I was saying was, now this is where I was explaining in previous podcasts, the thing with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and the thing I've done many arts, personally speaking, with Muay Thai, with the Filipino martial arts, with combat submission wrestling, with wrestling itself, boxing, and then Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But the one thing I always say with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I absolutely love with a passion, everything's got it, but the culture behind it, all the principles behind it, the self-development that we were talking about, even with the juniors, bringing them up and giving them the the confidence, the preservations, all of that comes with it is great to see. And something that Master Carlos Gracie Sr. said is that if everyone in the world did jiu-jitsu, the world would be a better place. And now his son, Master Carlos Gracie Jr. is nearly there. He's almost there. There's a Gracie Barra school, a jiu-jitsu school in pretty much near enough in every city in the world.
But it will happen very soon.
It's going to happen, 100%. And it's so beautiful to see. But you guys were doing that before. Like, you guys are doing that in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and seeing the development of yourself in your athletic career. I've seen you do it for so many others in the past, and you've done that. You've given yourself, Professor Victor, Professor Salvo, Carlos, so many professors out there have given this opportunity to so many of your students. Now, we touched upon before, there's very rare to see a blue belt in the UK. Like when you first come over. Then all of a sudden these purple belts, purple belts start developing. We're like, whoa, he's a purple. Oh my God! Like, oh my God, there's a brown belt.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
It's like, wow, what's going? And that's down to yourselves as individuals in developing the people that are underneath you. And like I think especially when you got the second Gracie Barra Birmingham school, where all of a sudden it felt like that was the next chapter in your life, in a sense where you're blessed to have such amazing people around you, but they're now looking at you as a reference, and now seeing your athletic career as well, which is great. And now it's great to see him, like, for the likes of Professor Jacob. Like he's a good example. Like he's phenomenal in what he's doing as an athlete. Yeah. But then, athlete aside, look what he's doing in the school, and it's even great to see as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I absolutely love the philosophy behind it all, and it's so good to see. But how do you feel about seeing the evolution of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and seeing from someone who came in from Brazil with hardly seen any purple, brown, and black belts here to now seeing where the country is now, and it's like, wow.
I think we learn, like, on the process, on the journey, you get the understanding, right? My main focus was I wanted to be a champion.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And that was my carrot.
Yes. Yeah,
I had a reference like Roger. He was a reference, right? Yeah. So you keep going, bam, bam, bam. But by following that journey, you develop your character. You become a better version of yourself because you start applying the concepts, what you learn, the self-respect, being humble. In jiu-jitsu, you cannot lie. Is it true for that? So you need to accept.
The truth's on the mat.
It's on the mats, right? It humbles you down. You no longer go outside to fight people on the side because you know that someone else that can beat you on the mats. Of course. So this kind of thing, throughout my goal to become a world champion, the best in the world, I was learning those values, the concept, and learning as well how my best friends are within the mats. And I see the benefits that people who are around me, that is giving to me, and the benefits that are giving mutual benefits. But this is only because I am chasing a medal. Yeah. And as you mentioned, at that time in 2009, I became the reference. Yeah. I had nobody else. So I said, hold on a second.
What's going on?
It's me. Yeah. I need to be now accountable for that. And now let's use this to help other people to feel the same, because Jiu-Jitsu, as Master Carlos' idea, is like for everyone. It's not only for the champions, because the champions is the champion that day, right? But the benefits is not in that tournament. The benefits of Jiu-Jitsu is through the whole process towards you being in the academy, training, your self-development, the resilience that you go when you are in a bad position, that there is always a way out.
Absolutely.
There is always a way out, as long as you don't panic. If you control, and being nervous is okay. When you're nervous, it's okay, but panic is not good. Yes. So you learn those be understanding yourself, that even though, oh man, that was so close, I thought it would be the end, but I escaped. So there's always a light in the end of the tunnel. Exactly. So these kind of things, you learn a lot. Absolutely. And as Jiu-Jitsu, for me, my personal journey was competition. And then I realized, hold on a second, Jiu-Jitsu for everyone. Why the person that when I started jiu-jitsu, man, there was sand on the mat. People wouldn't stop training. They'll just go but that because we are the kind that want to go that way.
Of course.
But there's so many other people that wouldn't even step on the mat if it's not
clean.
If it's not clean. So what you need to do is but the benefits of jiu-jitsu is beyond medal. It's just a lifestyle. It's what comes with what you learn as your personal journey, right?
Yes.
So then I started thinking, let's now, instead of be about me, let's now use this and incorporate as many people as possible, and then share to them not only it's not the medal itself, but let them to path the way so they can have the same experience. Absolutely. And that's what Master Carlos Gracie did with the Gracie Barra. He made it in a way that is so connected to the Gracie Barra in headquarters in Rio, that it the same way that he learned from his dad. He's being passed on the way, because I actually, through the ICP, I learned a lot more about Gracie Barra and Carlos Gracie than actually being with them. Because I'm far away from, you know what I mean? So I learned so much. And that showed a lot why he believed that the world would be a better place to live with everyone do jiu-jitsu, because the benefits of it.
Yeah. And I think I completely agree with you, because I love some of the stories, like talking of the ICP. Those of you that listen and don't know what the ICP is the Instructor Certification Program, which is so good because it teaches the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but not only Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Barra's history behind
the values, isn't it?
The values, and that's the most important
thing. The methodology.
The values for me personally, is the beauty behind it. And talking of Jiu-Jitsu for everyone. People misinterpret Jiu-Jitsu for everyone. Jiu-Jitsu for everyone. Now, again, I'm going to use me as a reference. When I first started Jiu-Jitsu, it was very tournament-based.
Yes.
When we started learning. I was learning it from a selfish point of view because I wanted to develop my mixed martial arts game. So I was doing it from, again, a tournament-based. But it's very clear. You go to a Jiu-Jitsu school, and you can see it is for everyone. But before, it was
towards the competition.
Yeah, it's always
towards to the self-development.
Yes, and that's
yeah,
absolutely.
And that's why I am what I am.
Yeah.
It's not by accident that nowadays that me and my brother Victor, are on the same path. So now we are doing something that is very hard to do, which is giving back when we never had it.
Yes.
Right? So, for example, we are pathing the way, towards the competition now, but now we're trying to pass it on to get the values of it with everything else in jiu-jitsu. Now, when we are in a scenario that competition is the main goal, if you're not good enough, you're not going to reap the values, right? Because you're not going to carry on. You're never going to get you know what I mean? It's quite empty.
Yes.
But now what we did was, for example, with the ambassador programs, we never had a sponsor, as you know, as you mentioned, we never had a sponsor. But now what we're doing, we're bringing them together so we can help them to have something they never had. Exactly. And it takes some special thing to be able to give to everyone when you never had it. Yeah. And that shows the commitment of the try to share and give back to the community to make a better opportunities for everyone.
And that's the beauty, and I think that's amazing, because you see the ambassadors program, and it's so good to see what you're now doing with the athletes as well, like obviously the ones that want to go down that route, and it's incredible to see.
And if you want to train jiu-jitsu, look, why people train in our academy? Because they go to socialize, they go to learn something new, they go there to get inspired, to exercise, and this, when you are around people who have the same mindset, it feels good. Everyone goes together. So nowadays we have my mom started training jiu-jitsu. My auntie started to train jiu-jitsu. When I see my mom reaping the benefits of what jiu-jitsu gave me, but because my character was jiu-jitsu.
Linked with that, your mom's now doing it, which is great to see. I've seen the videos and it's awesome. Without the development of it, could you see her doing it 20 years ago when you were doing it from a competition?
My mom was scared of me going to the academy.
Exactly. This is the beauty of the development of jiu-jitsu, to see what it is today. Now, jiu-jitsu itself and isn't everyone? It's getting more and more popular. Like I'd say we're 75% there, but you ask the average Mr. and Mrs. Smith on the road, oh, you know what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, still not 100%.
Not yet.
I see in the next 5, maybe 10 years, max.
They'll be the policeman. Look, the policeman. There's, especially here in your caves, there's some crew that should know jiu-jitsu. Proper training jiu-jitsu is them. You're not allowed to use guns in the street. What are you gonna do if you don't know how to? Like an example that is very important to you. I know it's sensitive, but you know, George Floyd. I know, like, the policeman now, he's being on trial now, and dude, if one of them did jiu-jitsu, this would never happen. Exactly, because they would know what's happening. They would feel, hey, come on, this guy stopped responding. Come on, I'm on his neck. He's gonna bloody pass out. He's gonna die.
Even if you put your hand,
exactly. So this knowledge, you know, like, if people need to understand that jiu-jitsu, is the gentle art. That's why I like the most, because I don't need, as you see, look, imagine the policeman sitting with a knee, kneeling on someone else's neck for 10 minutes. The guy died. Yeah. Right. So you don't need to look the size of the policeman and the size of the so you don't need much to control. What you need to know what you're doing. Yeah. If you have the information, if you know that, if you have the knowledge, if the policeman did jiu-jitsu, George would never have died.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And if George did jiu-jitsu, he would not have that, because you would be able to speak up more, better about it, or move in a way that he could survive, and, you know what I mean, protect himself. Yeah. And that's the thing. And jiu-jitsu, it's beautiful for the fact that you don't need to use impact to control situation, you know? And then when it comes down in reality, if you know how to get out of a altercation above, you're a bigger person, right?
Exactly.
So that's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of the art itself, isn't it? And like I said, it's so good to see now. But linked with this is where I find it really inspirational with what yourself have done, what Victor's done, and you know, all these great professors that have started from original HQ, which is back in Rio, and it's so good to see you guys develop in where you are. But not only have you helped people develop in the athletic world, like I said, you're helping everyone in the sense of at the academies, but more importantly, their livelihoods. And that comes with jiu-jitsu anyway. And that's what we're trying to say, in the sense of, when we're training, we're all training, we've all got the same mindset, but you're also helping develop people from a leadership point of view. That's the most important part. Yes. And Braulio, you've got so many examples, so many references, that you've progressed from, not only jiu-jitsu, but from a lifestyle point of view, from a leadership point of view. We briefly touched upon it, where they go and open their own schools, but you've got such a great team under you now that are developing, and they've got many schools under you, like Nathan in Wolverhampton, Stu, and you know, all these great guys, and which are now professors as well. And it's been a long journey, obviously. That must give you some sort of, not satisfaction, but some sort of like, wow.
I get wonder the pride. I have pride.
Proud man, because these guys they came to jiu-jitsu as a part-time basis, because they'll be doing their full-time jobs. They've already had careers, or working in their 9-to-5s or whatever it may be. But you've allowed them to dream. You've allowed them to achieve that dream and become full-time jiu-jitsu school learners. And how does that make you feel?
This is incredible. You know, it's incredible for me, because when I came here in Birmingham, people would travel around. The game plan of that Stevie B's wanted is like people from all over the country come and train here. Yeah. Because there's so many, a handful of people would know what jiu-jitsu is about, and they would make the effort. You know, Rick Young would come down from Scotland, Edinburgh. You know, like Mark Walder would come back up from Essex. You know what I mean? Like, like a Lee Catley for Essex. You know, like people travel. Tom Barlow from Plymouth. Yes. You know what I mean? Like all these, because there's no match out there. But now, because jiu-jitsu is developing, now we can spread more academies around in the same area, because there's more people to learn. The more academies, the better for everyone, because people get to know what jiu-jitsu is about. But that's incredible what you touch about the leadership. We should have leadership lessons in the schools. 100%. Because that's one thing that we should know in jiu-jitsu, in life.
I say this to our parents, man. It's so true. Like, they don't this is what frustrates me. They shouldn't even bring jiu-jitsu in schools. And I think that's a
That
project
would be a good project.
Yeah, I think that's a project we could do because, especially for the youth, leadership is so important.
Look, the difference that I see I've seen people like all kind of different levels, lower self-esteem, all kind of levels, and they just within months they changed. You know, it's people who like most of us who ever been in martial arts. You know, we don't know that because we don't miss what you don't know.
Of course.
Right? But the amount of people has developed like a mindset, illness on the
it is mindset. It is
health, mental health.
Mental health, yeah.
Mental health. The amount of people that develops mental health through the incidents that happens in their lives.
Yes.
It's incredible. Put this a picture. Master Nelson Monteiro, he was talking about a story, you know. This guy, we start training with him, and he had he went to surf before we start training. He was surfing one day with his family, and he went to go to have some waves. He went to surf, and he did something wrong, and the guy told him off to leave, and he left the sea.
Okay.
Right? As a man, you want to have fun in front of your family, and someone said, "If you get out of the door, I'll beat you up."
Oh, okay, yeah.
And this guy leave. Imagine how he's gonna sleep in the night. Imagine, like, I was having a good day. I was surfing. Someone told me, and imagine how afraid of life the guy must be.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that once you do jiu-jitsu, you will suddenly now start beating you up. It's not that.
No.
But it's about if someone threaten you, you will be able to defend yourself, and therefore you'll be able to still do what you're not going to stop for someone else doing what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
There are people out there that they're afraid even asking questions on the counter of a shop. Yeah. Those people, because they are introverted, they never had the experience of being in a group or knowing how to defend themselves. So he's afraid. People are afraid of leaving their house. You know, and this is not healthy. Absolutely. This builds up a very big issue with the mental health. Now, once you try when I see, like, how many times I saw students of mine that they could even talk to me, look in my eyes, and now we laugh and joke, and they tell me joke that I laugh.
You
know what I mean? Like, and this is helping people to overcome a big thing, you know, like the world of days is not easy. It's dangerous. We must see now.
Especially now. I think it's worse than
it's
ever been. Yeah.
If there's something, if I recommend anybody to, if you have kids, put the kids in the martial arts. So they will be able to kind of at least see the world. Yes.
Be confident.
Yes, because it changed.
Yeah.
In fighting, for whoever doesn't do fighting, how many times do you think when you're fighting, you see in MMA, someone getting hit, and he keep going forward, looking to the target. Do you think he didn't feel that hit? When I fought my first fight in MMA, right? I was fighting. Suddenly, the guy disappeared in front of me.
Oh.
That's when I realized that I got hit. I didn't feel no punch. I didn't feel no impact. I just feel, I said, opa, I got hit. But I cannot tell him that I got hit. So I need to make poker face. I need to move to the side. I need to be a little bit of, and this is in life. Yeah. In life, someone threatening you, you feel, you're in trouble. You need to be, with a posture confident. Just by your posture of way of walking, you already push people away to pick on you. Yeah. You know, just because the posture.
It's true. You say that. It's body language.
Yes, body language. You learn this.
Because you can.
Yes, if you go like that, when you have people already not down. Yeah. But that's what it is, and this builds a much more confidence. And a lot of people start to understand that, it actually works, then they start thinking about the next stage. Absolutely. Okay, that works, now I can do this, now I can do that. And then builds up, especially with these social media crazy things going on.
Tell me about it, bro. So guys, linked with obviously what Professor's saying there, man, I truly, for all the listeners out there, we've been through the whole world has been through a real difficult time with facing COVID-19 and the whole pandemic and everything. And that's just not UK based, this is worldwide. But you've just hit the nail on the head there, Professor, in talking about the youth, even adults and even seniors as well, that it's not the physical aspects and the techniques of jiu-jitsu that improves you as an individual. It's the culture, it's everything. It's all the essence behind it all that brings you together, and it brings you up to be the person you are, right? So we've seen that with the example you've just given us as well. And you've hit the nail on the head there. It's so important that just with the confidence of learning from a few classes, it builds you up as an individual. And just like you explained there, as even little things like the posture of you plays a big part. It's your body language, and that all comes from the art of what we love doing, which is jiu-jitsu. And this is one of the main reasons I want to bring you on as a guest today, is because you've given us. There could be more. We could be here all day, by the way, yeah? We could be here all night as well, but you've given us so many examples in just only a few examples in your career of where you could have been like, boom, done. I'm done. Career's done. Knees done. That's me done. Oh, next gone. But you kept on going. You kept on fighting. You never settled. And we see that today. You're running an amazing Gracie Barra Birmingham, as well as your black belts under you're running their individual schools as well, and it's great. And it's great seeing you travel the world doing the seminars, and it's awesome to see. But you're still not settled, because there's more to it. There's more. So, what can we look forward to in the next chapter of Braulio Estima's life? I know that's
well. Now this chapter is going to be many chapters, but I think the book is going to be big. You know, I think. You mentioned that, like all the adversities that I have gone through in my career made who I am today. And I believe that everything happens for a reason, but not that is pre-written in the stars. Yeah. It is that everything that we have our free will, right? That's what God gave us. The universe gave us the free will. And that's what I mean by is everything is for a reason, is that according to your choices your decisions, your choice you make in life, especially with the intentions of the choices, will lead to what you're gonna be. That's gonna happen for that reason, right? So, in my life now, I'm in a different scenario. I learn through my path the importance of sharing, the importance of try to help someone to become a better version of themselves. Yeah. How it is important to help someone to become a better version. Yeah. Be first a success story, then help others to become a success story, then help others to be, and it's a snowball of positivity.
It never ends.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Through this lockdown, what I was very impressed with our team was our leaders, the people who are on the front line, put the gloves on and let's go. Now, like pandemic goes, all the main directors join forces, and it's sleepless nights, 4 days non-stop to get up. At the time we had only 2 weeks. We're gonna close down 2 weeks, and
that's all it was. Yeah.
And now a year later, but the thing is, the jiu-jitsu went through with the COVID in the most challenging times of all times that in jiu-jitsu history, because it's like the contact. Jiu-jitsu is all about contact, right? So now we have no contact, and it was the most challenging for us. But guess what? We had never been so strong in our team. Absolutely. Because we connected. We use our network to strengthen together through the values and through the experience that jiu-jitsu taught us. We try to pass it on to a different stage outside of the mats. Now, that showed a lot what we are made of. As soon as the pandemic hit, me, Victor, we're the first ones to say, guys, whatever you guys need. I was calling with the Professor Flávio Almeida, Master Feitosa, Marco Piu, Master Carlos Gracie Jr. And guess what? We joined forces how we could, with no intentions of self-benefit, but to join forces and be there for the team. Guess what? People sees that. People's understanding and feel that we are there with a genuine goal. That we're not turning our backs to them. We never close. We just transfer our classes to the online, and we made all those experiences. Can you exercise from home? Yes. Can you socialize from home through Zoom meeting? You can. Can you learn something new? Yes. Can you get inspired? That's the 4 main cores of our classes. Absolutely. Right? Now, with that mentality, look what happened. I became now, not long ago, because of the pandemic, I put so much time, and people start seeing and noticing and appreciating. And I am now the head professor of the Gracie Barra Global online.
There you go.
Right? So this is, for me, amazing for me. For my personal achievement. You know, probably the biggest achievement I ever had, because I never dreamed that this could be possible. But that would be nice if it did one day, but I never aimed. I never did that for that reason. And now I embrace the responsibility. I'm not taking that lightly. And that's what I'm at now. I am in the situation that I want to make a world a better place to live. I want to follow what Carlos Gracie Sr. once said, believed. And it's not by accident.
No.
It's not by accident, Pindi. Master Carlos Gracie Jr., and the first day I met him, he was the first Gracie that I met. I was at 17 years old, blue belt, going there, lost my first fight. I met him on the next day after the tournament, just to do my last training before I go back home.
Yeah.
I trained. He called me to the side and said, "There's something about you. Don't stop training. Go back to your place." He asked my name and all that. Go back to Recife there, train, you're on the right path. Choose your right people to hang out with. Don't go in and with those drug people or get into the party all the time. Focus, because there's something about you. Wow. 25 years later, I'm the head professor of the Gracie Barra Global. This is, for me, is one of my biggest achievements in my life. That I never said, more important than anything else, because now I'm in a position that I can use all my personal experience, which is genuine, truthful, and honest.
Yes.
And with values.
Absolutely.
And try to give some people of any kind a nice carrot to look forward and to become a better version of themselves, making a positive impact as much as possible in the world, and become maybe making the world a much better place to live, for sure. That's my goal.
Amazing.
That's my purpose.
Such a beautiful that's a beautiful ending to this amazing podcast that we've had here with Professor Braulio Estima. Thank you so much for that time. And everyone listening, I hope you've all enjoyed that as much as I've enjoyed being part of it. It's been absolutely amazing. And those of you that are listening and watching at home and probably at the beginning of this didn't have that desire to go and fulfill your dreams or anything, I hope this podcast has really helped you on a psychological level, because you've heard there with Braulio stories of many, many, many examples of could have given up, didn't. Now look where he is today. Okay, so Professor, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pindi. So I just want to say something. Guys, I am a normal person. I have my insecurities. I have my flaws. You know, I have my challenge in my life as a partner, as a brother, as a father, as a son, you know, as a friend, and I'm constantly on the self-develop myself. It never felt like it's not magic. It's not like you feel, I'm on. It's not. It doesn't feel perfect. It never will. If you wait until you feel perfect, it's never gonna come. You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel perfect. You know, I have 3 hands, 2 arms. I have a lot of injuries, and you know that it's normal. Everyone goes through that. It's the only thing is that you got to do something about it, because if you don't do something about it, you cannot complain that nothing happened. You know. You say in life, you find what you search. And if you search success, you search positivity, you search good, you will find. But if you search the bad things, negative, you're going to find too. So main thing, never do to others what you never like to be done to yourself, and go with the flow, and, you know, the universe will conspire.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Professor. Just for the listeners out there, could you just let everyone know where to follow you on social media, what your platforms are? If you could just let everyone know that before.
For sure, Pindi. If you guys want to follow me on the Instagram, I'm more active on the Instagram at Braulio Estima. Facebook, I always redirect from the Instagram, so I don't have much time online. But also at the Gracie Barra online, you know, the GB online. It's one of the main tools I'll be using as well to spread this amazing art and methodology with the values that we learned from Master Carlos Gracie Jr. And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Until the next time.